Hello and welcome to Divinatory Tarot. My name is Ewan and today we are looking at the Knight of Swords, the first court card of the Suit of Swords. Now if you haven't already, I highly recommend going back and looking at the court cards for the Suit of Cups and the Suit of Wands to give much greater context to this card, as well as a individual video I've done on all the court cards, which I would say is necessary to watch before watching this video, because there is quite a lot of information about the court cards and their nuances, and if I were to put it in every single court card video, I'd be repeating the same things, and also the videos get very long. So please do go and watch that court cards video. If you don't watch any other video, just watch that one. And if you just want to look at the Divinatory Interpretations for this card, please do look in the description. You'll find a timestamp, but I will warn you that you probably won't understand why the Knight of Swords are these things without looking at the whole video first. So please do watch the whole video at least once. So without further ado, we're going to look at the Knight of Swords. So we see here a knight clad in green armour, darting forwards through a blue sky on a Palomino horse. I didn't know that until I researched this card, but apparently that's a Palomino horse. We see a six-pointed star topping his helmet, from which you see these four insect-like wings, almost like a helicopter, coming out of. And this is quite interesting because the card was created before the concept of helicopters even existed. In the right hand of the knight, we see this longer sword, which is a sabre. And in the left we see a fencing foil, which is a shorter and sharper sword. Streaks of cloud seem to be following the Knight of Swords as he darts through the sky. And we see these little swallows, there's three of them, darting alongside the knight as the wind carries them. So the Knight of Swords is the fire of air, and if you remember, all court cards have two elements to them. So fire here is the knight aspect, and the swords aspect is the air. And the Knight of Swords rules the last third of Taurus, and the first 2/3 of Gemini on the astrological Decan wheel. He represents the power of air, that is, our thoughts rushing forwards to pin down and analyse objects in the world, or sweep away unnecessary clutter. He is the gale force wind and the compressed air in a bottle, rushing through life or waiting to explode into it. This can be interpreted as our thoughts rushing around inside the ego, which is the eye of the tempest we call the mind. In essence, it is an empty space and a no thing that cannot be measured beyond that which expresses and surrounds itself with. As such, the ego is forever making itself known and seeking attachments, lest it come to the terrifying conclusion that it does not actually exist. The I of, as in me and you, is turned on its side to reveal the great wheel of zero, and thus it is an illusion in the face of the pure awareness we call consciousness. So what I've described there is how consciousness, our awareness, is the big zero, and if we turn it on its side, it becomes an identity, and that identity, or when you condense consciousness to a point, it becomes the I, the idea of me, and that is the illusion, and actually there's only consciousness. The swords wielded by the knight are fencing weapons, and thus they are subtle and elegant weapons. They are designed for quick movement and precise jabs that are efficient and require a great deal of skill to use effectively. We see here that the Knight of Swords is not equipped to clash with his opponent. These type of swords mean that he wishes to end them quickly and cleanly. Indeed, he is so confident and hasty in his attack that we see he has no saddle for his horse, and no bridle or reins either. And we see that this quality here with the swords and their purpose is very much a well-dignified aspect of thoughts. And if you look at the other swords cards, we see that it tends to be these fencing swords, which are applied to cards that are far easier to work with, such as the Six of Swords. Now we see that the knight has these 4 insect-like wings on his helmet, and these are an abstract representation of his mercurial quality. Mercury is the ruler of Gemini, the dominant aspect of Knight of Swords, and his winged helmet is a symbol of a swift and noble mind that can rise to the heavens. The wings are delicate and able to move fast, like a dragonfly, and also Mercury, who has wings on his helmet, but they don't tend to look like this in most depictions of Mercury, who is also known as Hermes. And we see that their number is 4, as this represents the 4 cardinal directions, like a compass. The 6-pointed star represents harmony, and thus, like Gemini, the Knight of Swords has the potential to move across various disciplines, thoughts, and directions of learning. This is a well-dignified Gemini. Meanwhile, we see that the Knight's armour is green, as this hints towards Venus, who rules the lesser aspect of the Knight, which is Taurus. This is embodied by the relative stability of the Knight's thoughts, so he is able to move between concepts and ideas with ease, even if he may lack tact in this respect. With this quality, the Knight can absorb information without becoming overwhelmed, and apply it if necessary. It is also a representation of the ego's identification with matter and detail. The Palomino horse we see here is a symbol of confidence, positivity, and radiance, representing the virtues that the Knight of Swords rides upon through the universe. They are flexible and a fast breed, favoured by the nobility throughout history, and also used by the Native American peoples for hunting when the Spanish introduced the horse to America. The speed at which the knight's mind moves is evident in the streaking clouds and leaping horse within the card. We see that he is leaning forwards like a jockey, eager in his curiosity and pursuit of learning. And before we go on to the divinatory interpretation of this card, we do see the 3 swallows here, which we must not forget. And swallows are birds of Jupiter, which doesn't seem to relate to anything in this card, but there is a reason behind this. And there are 3 of them, as this is the number of Binar, which is ruled by Saturn. And these point towards 2 of the minor arcana, which are attributed to the Knight of Swords. And this is where we see the Jupiter aspect come in. So we have the 7 of Discs, which is Saturn in Taurus, which is failure. So please do go look at that video to learn more. And the 8 of Swords, which is Jupiter in Gemini, which is interference. And I do recommend going and looking at that video too. It's a very interesting video with the concept of too many thoughts and what happens. These cards show us the shadow nature of the Knight, in that he rarely commits to his ideas and his thoughts, and he often gets in his own way in this respect. So now we're going to look at the divinatory interpretations of this card, which tend to be a lot longer for the court cards, as they tend to represent personalities as well as actual things in divination. So, in one word, the Knight of Swords is a literal brainstorm. A brainstorm that he is. He is a representation of the tempest of thoughts that rush through our minds every single day, whether they be tangible or not. This Knight is a flash of inspiration and the ideas that follow it. Thus he is the fire of air. Yet despite his swift and brilliant mind, the Knight lacks the quality of reflection that his wife, the Queen of Swords, embodies. As such, he can be flighty at times and inconsistent in his efforts. The Knight may have all the ideas, but very little introspection or consideration with regards to their implication. As a person, the Knight is predominantly a masculine energy, no matter the gender, but erring towards the androgynous. Indeed, they would care little for such distinctions between their own ideas and philosophies. Beyond their own ideas and philosophies, should I say. These personalities are very active, always darting from one topic to the next, and always switching between projects, hobbies, and interests. They live in the projected aspect of their mind, always skimming the surface of any given concept or object, like a warm summer breeze or a gale force wind, depending on their dignity. Emotion rarely crosses their radar unless it has something to be analysed, studied, or speculated about. These Knights can have a habit of saying things as they see it, without considering the thoughts, feelings, or emotions of others. So a Knight of Swords may always appear rushed in their actions, thoughts, and behaviours. They may be quick-witted, clever, precise, and knowledgeable, yet they may lack understanding, subtlety, and depth in their ideas. These Knights may talk very quickly, often overrunning their own thoughts, let alone those of others, and may often stumble upon their own speech in an effort to convey as much as possible in a small amount of time. They are also prone to changing their mind on a whim, as their thoughts cycle through one another at a remarkable rate. So from all these things, we see that in divination, the Knight of Swords represents thought processes towards the direction in which they are facing, and away from that behind them. So it's like a mind moving constantly forwards. This action often centres around analysing, calculating, and speculating on any given topic, concept, object, or person. When well dignified, the card can represent intelligence, wit, efficiency, objectivity, inspiration, ideas, and precision. When ill-dignified, the card represents inconsistency, cold indifference, harsh criticism, pettiness, and being unreasonably abstract for the sake of intellectualizing. If you ever meet a Knight of Swords, you certainly won't be able to get a word in edgeways, and they will probably change the topic of conversation at least 6 times before rushing off to do one of their many hobbies. So that has been the Knight of Swords, the first court card in the Suit of Swords. And if you enjoyed what you saw today and found it interesting, then please do hit that like button, it really does help the channel. And if you'd like to see future videos and be made aware of them, they are either on the Thoth Tarot or myself doing tarot readings, and please do hit the bell icon and the subscribe button so that you don't miss any future videos about tarot, astrology, and the Thoth deck. So thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope you're doing well wherever you are in the world, and have a wonderful day, evening, afternoon, morning, wherever you are in the world, and goodbye.